Welcome to Ranger Creek in the Baker-Snoqualmie National Forest. I'll be spending time here and areas along Chinook Pass. Okay, I made it to my first stop on my trip towards Maine. I'm at the Rainier Creek airstrip, and there is an actual airstrip here in the National Forest. I've been here many times, and I've never seen a plane land here. And not even 10 minutes ago, a plane landed. So we'll go down there and check it out a little bit later. I'd also like to point out an Apache did a low approach a little bit earlier. Of course, I didn't catch either of those two aircraft. Coming in, Rainier Creek airstrip is just east of Mount Rainier National Park. I should have mentioned, I got this Coleman stove from a family member. They hadn't used it in 5+ years. Surprisingly, it still does work. However, the attachment for it was missing, so I had to go to an outdoor store to purchase a new one. But for dinner tonight, we're just going to have some ravioli with some tomato sauce. So there it is, the runway in the middle of the National Forest, and you may be able to see way down there, there's not one but two aircrafts. Another one just landed just a few moments ago. There's parking down there for the aircraft, and there's actually a campground for the people on the aircraft. Washington State has a few of these airplane campgrounds. We'll walk down a little bit later. I think those guys are just settling in. I don't want to disturb them right now. So there it is. It looks like one of the two aircraft is leaving. My guess is they went down to the parking area, signed the guest book, and then continue on their trip. Good morning. So let's back up to yesterday. I got a pretty late start from DuPont, and with all the excitement of the aircraft and the runway, which we'll talk a little bit more later, I didn't get to do a lot of filming or talk about this area. So the Rainier Creek area has a campground that surrounds the airstrip. On this side where I'm camped, the sites are spread out a lot more, whereas on the other side, it's more of a traditional loop, and they do have a couple of vaulted toilets over there. So if you need to use those, it's a little bit of a hike because you're not supposed to be walking across the airstrip. I'm sure it does happen. So each of these campsites has a fire ring and a picnic table. All you have to do is pay $5 a day or have a recreation pass. Now, I imagine in the near future, that's going to change. It's going to be more along the lines of a traditional campground where it's like $15 and your recreation pass is no longer valid. So I don't really have a whole lot planned for today. There is a Suntop Trail which is down this way. We'll do a little bit of hiking on that and then just kind of explore the area a little bit more today. Here we go on the Suntop Trail. Now, I probably have the right net geo map to show what this trail actually does, because it says 8.3 miles, but I don't know if that's out and back, or if it's one way, or possibly this trail connects with another trail. It continues on. Now, there probably also is a Suntop Peak, which probably also show on the net geo map. So anyways, I'm not going to do a full 8.3 miles today. Okay, I made it to my first water crossing. The stream is pretty spread out, it's pretty shallow. I think that there's a lot of water runoff still from snow and water accumulation at higher elevations. Okay, after hiking about an hour and a half, I've come to Service Road 7160. It's the same road that you can get to the Ranger Creek area from. I'd imagine that not too many people come up this far, although this down tree looks fairly recent, so who knows when the last time anyone drove this far up. I could hike down the service road to get back to Ranger Creek, but I think just hiking on the trail is a little bit faster. Okay, I'm nearly back to the campsite and it's almost lunchtime. Have that, and then the rest of the day I'm just gonna hang around, relax. The White River runs nearby here, so probably hang out there for a little bit, and that'll be the day. All right, it's much later on in the day. In fact, it's evening now, and I feel like I really haven't done a whole lot productive today other than that hike. I did go up to Crystal Mountain briefly. There's really not a lot going on there. It's still not the summer season yet. Plus, they're building some kind of new lodge or structure, so there's even less to see and do there right now. And then I'll probably spend maybe 1 or 2 more nights here at Ranger Creek, or at least that's what I like to call it. When I was actually up at Crystal Mountain, I discovered this is actually called the Buck Creek Campground. So, you know, it's just a weird place. I mean, the airstrip's called the Ranger Creek, the campground's Buck Creek, but then the river is White River, so figure that one out. Okay, I just finished up dinner and I walked down to the White River. It's probably not the best spot to view it or hang out at. I think I'm gonna walk around the campground a little bit more and see if there's maybe a better spot to view the river. As far as tomorrow's concerned, obviously I'll go back up to Crystal Mountain, but then also I'm probably going to do the Sukum Falls Trail in the morning. Good morning. So it drizzled all night and it's still drizzling now. I left some stuff out, so it got pretty wet. I'm gonna have a little bit of cleaning up to do later on when it stops raining. I'm still going to do the Sukum Trail, and then from there we'll probably go up to Crystal Mountain for a little bit. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what's going on with this trail because a couple times the trail has split and got headed back up to the campground, and then there's also like these random side trails that I don't think are official trails, like the one I'm on now, which is led down to the White River. It's a great view and all, but you know, I'd like to actually get to the Sukum Falls. I ended up back in the campground. I'm actually on the opposite side of the airstrip from where I camped last couple nights. I did find a map of the area and I kind of have a general idea of where the trail is now. So here in a little bit, I probably will get back on the trail. I'm just gonna walk down this service road to check out this side of the campground a little bit more. After aimlessly walking around the campground, I finally caught up to the trail at the far end of the airstrip. And now I understand why hikers seem to be aimlessly walking around the campground. The trail near the campground is in pretty poor condition. There's been a lot of erosion because of the White River. The trail is completely wiped out, so there it is. I don't think I'm going to make it all the way to Snoqualmie Falls because of all the time. And what is this? Okay. I guess I don't know which way to go. I'm definitely not making it to Snoqualmie Falls. So when I was just at that split in the trail and didn't know which way to go, I went to the right, and I think the trail is supposed to go to the left, but I think it would come out right here. I'm just a little bit further up the river, but the trail is probably completely eroded out because of the change in the course of the White River. So I think a new trail is starting to develop. Okay, well, needless to say, this place is kind of a mess. I did find the trail a little bit further up, but I didn't end up hiking on it. And as you can see, it looks like there's more campgrounds, but you just have fire rings and picnic tables scattered all around this area. So I will say it looks like the Forest Service has put up a bunch of rocks to prevent people from driving back here. So that hopefully this will get restored in a few years. Anyways, I'm going to hike back on the service road because it's going to be the easiest way to get back to my van. Okay, I made it back to the van. Spent probably about an hour and a half hiking. It's kind of a wash, but definitely got my steps in, or at least some of my steps in for the day. So after leaving the Ranger Creek area, I continued up Highway 410 to the entrance of Mount Rainier National Park, stopped briefly before continuing on to the summit of Chinook Pass. Okay, I made it to the summit of Chinook Pass. Of course, the weather's not great for viewing, and the visibility at times was less than 50 feet on the drive up here, so it's slow going. Now, I've only been over here one other time, very briefly. The road is closed significant portions of the year. Some years it closes as early as October and doesn't reopen until as late as June sometimes. Because of the amount of snow. I've seen pictures of this exact spot where the snow comes all the way up to the top of this sign. I've heard that it takes the Washington Department of Transportation sometimes up to 6 weeks to clear this road. The PCT does cross this little monument. There's actually a path here, so I'm going to go ahead and hike across it. Pacific Crest Trail, or the PCT, does cut through here. Of course, you really have to know what you're doing to find the trail this time of year. I think that most hikers come through a little bit later when more of the snow is melted. Okay, I didn't end up hiking too far on the Pacific Crest Trail because of the amount of snow, and I just don't have the right equipment for it. I would have loved to have spent more time in Mount Rainier, especially since I'm on the east side of the park. I've never been up to Sunrise. All the times I've been to Mount Rainier is up by Longmire or Paradise. So anyways, I'm just going to continue on eastwards. Okay, made it to the spot where I'm going to camp tonight. I knew I was going to camp somewhere in this general area. I didn't know exactly where. Of course, it didn't help that I haven't had cell service for the last couple days. And with this weather, that didn't help either. But this turned out to be an amazing spot. So let me swing you around here. This nice lake. I think I'm off Forest Service Road 585. So for the rest of the evening, I'm going to finish cleaning up. I'll walk around some of these service roads. In the wintertime, I think they do groom the service roads, so it is a snow park, and snowmobiles and other motorized equipment can use it in the wintertime. Good morning. I think this morning I'm going to investigate climbing up this little peak If I don't do that, it's pretty much going to be the wrap on this video that I'm calling Chinook Pass. We'll start moving on to Yakima, Ellensburg, and the Grand Coulee, but that will be for the next video. So I want to thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button.